Thankfully, there's been more awareness about factory farming and about the cruelty of putting animals in small crates and cages. People want an alternative. And so we're at a time now where lots of people are looking for humane meat, milk, and eggs. Usually that term means very little. Most of the farms that say the animals are free range or cage free are factory farms. Free range only requires that animals be given access to the outdoors. But access to the outdoors is not defined, so you often have animals that are kept by the thousands in a warehouse with a little door that goes to a crummy little paddock, and that is sold as free range. I visited Joel Salatin's farm. He's the guy that runs Polyface Farms. He was sort of the hero farmer, anti-factory farming in the film Food, Inc. And I went and visited his chickens who are pasture-raised chickens, which sounds good, right? Pasture-raised chickens. But these chickens who were on pasture were also kept in these 12 by 12 boxes, essentially, made with 2x4s and chicken wire, with a metal roof that was like a foot or two high. And these chickens were the genetic breed that grows twice as big and twice as fast as normal. So their bodies are stressed growing that fast. And then they're on this pasture, and it was a hot summer day when I visited, and they were open-mouth breathing. They were very uncomfortable and not really having a very good life. So even pasture-raised can tend to sound a lot better than it is. And at the end of the day, we need to ask ourselves whether the word humane and the word slaughter actually fit together. Now, there are a handful of farmers that actually do try to treat their animals better, and this is one. His name is Bob Comus. He was a pig farmer in upstate New York who actually let his pigs be outside and let them live good lives. But he essentially came around to see that these animals are not that different than dogs. He was looking into their eyes, seeing that there was somebody there, and he was conflicted about sending them to slaughter. And he started writing for the Huffington Post, saying things like, people look up to me as this really humane farmer, but at the end of the day, I'm a slaver and a murderer, and I don't feel good about it. He said, this is not good for the animals, and this is not good for me. So a couple years ago, he got out of pig farming, and some of his pigs came to live at Farm Sanctuary, and he's now a proponent of plant-based agriculture, and he's a vegan. And I love his story because so many people now are hoping they can keep eating animal foods and justifying it by saying, well, they're treated well and they only have one bad day. But they aren't usually treated very well. And even if they have only one bad day, why should they have that? And there are social consequences as well to the slaughterhouse workers and the people involved in this killing, and to the other animals on the farm who were friends with these animals. When we first got the farm up in Watkins Glen, New York, there was a beef farmer across the street from me. And I started speaking to him, and he knew I was vegan. And he said, look, I raise cattle out here. There's the mother, she has a calf, and the calf nurses on the mother. They have a great life. And then one day, I go out to the pasture with my gun, sneak up behind the calf, who's now a year or two old and is slaughter weight. I sneak up behind the calf, hit him in the back of the head with a bullet. What's wrong with that? And I said, well, first, the idea of sneaking up behind somebody with a gun and shooting him in the head doesn't seem very pleasant. But even if the calf didn't feel anything, the mother has now lost her offspring, and that animal's life has been ended. That animal probably wanted to live a good life, and that's not possible. So that's what's wrong with it, I said. But anyway, there's these justifications people give towards killing. And if we can live well without killing, why wouldn't we? I mean, that's sort of the fundamental question. And just living on this planet, we do cause harm. So the world is not perfect, but to the extent we can lessen the harm we cause, I think it's good for us as well as animals and as well as for the planet.